Doha, Qatar, where I'm joined at the moment by Dr. Abdelhamid Siyam. He's Professor Rutgers University. He's a Palestinian academic, author, activist, speaks his mind out. I want to understand from you first there, Dr. Siyam, your first reaction to the horrific explosion in Gaza. There are conflicting claims about who is behind this. The Israelis are claiming this was a Palestinian rocket that was misfired. Do you see this as a turning point in this war between Israel and Hamas? How do you react to what has happened?
Sir, thank you for the invitation. And we have to put things in perspective. This is not the first massacre that Israel commit against the Palestinians. In fact, it's history. From 1948 until now, it's a series of atrocities and massacres. This war started on October 7. There were 2,800 Palestinians were killed before this massacre. Schools were bombed, roads, food was cut off, electricity, water. All these are called war crimes. So we cannot look at this incident alone because it comes within a context of an Israel determination to eliminate the Palestinian people, to transfer them outside of Palestine, to take over the land of Palestinians. They killed 61 in the West Bank and wounded 1,200 people since October 7. So there was no Hamas in the West Bank. It's a war against the Palestinians. We have to put it in this perspective. They are trying to claim all the land without the people. This is their slogan from 1948 until now. Without looking at the bigger picture, we cannot understand what's going on. It's not an incident. It's not a conflict that started on October 7. It started long before. It started Nakba in 1948. It continued in 1967 when Israel occupied the West Bank and East Jerusalem.
I'll come to the bigger picture, Dr. Siyam, but I want to understand, how do you respond now to what the Israelis are claiming? Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, supported by US President Joe Biden, claims that the attack on the hospital was a misfired rocket by the Islamic Jihad of Palestinian organization. Israel has nothing to do with it. How do you respond to that?
Okay, first, the Israeli military spokesman, Mr. Naftali, issued on his Twitter saying that we are mistakenly hit the hospital, thinking there is a military base for the terrorists. Then after 15 minutes, this tweet was taken out of Twitter. I saw it, I have it, I could send you a copy. It's circulating all over the world. Second, why al-Jihad has to put some bomb in the hospital? Why? Does it make sense? Second, is there a bomb that could explode and destroy a whole hospital and kill 500 people? Does it make sense? Third, Israel sent a warning to all the hospitals. They asked doctors, they asked WHO to evacuate. They told them hospitals are target. If you don't evacuate, don't blame us. And the doctors of every Palestinian hospital said, we cannot evacuate. We have people on machines. We have people for kidney dialysis. We have cancer patients. How can we evacuate? Mm-hmm. So it didn't come from out of the blue. They've been warning the hospital.
Dr. Siyam, Israel is claiming that Hamas is using these hospitals and schools as shields. That's the charge which is being made, which you're going to have to now refute conclusively, that Hamas as a terror group is being accused of using hospitals and schools as a shield.
They always try to justify their attacks. They try to put it in that kind of unacceptable justification. It's a hospital. It's with patients, with doctors, with nurses. I mean, the UN is there. The UN, the Secretary General condemned that, the attack on the hospital. So there are videos circulating about the attack. So don't tell me that if Netanyahu said, oh, we didn't do it, that we accept his argument. He's been warning the hospital. He asked 1.1 million to move from northern Gaza to South Gaza. Didn't he do that? So there is 1 million Palestinians are displaced now. Isn't these war crimes?
If you say these are war crimes, let's also look at the role of the United States, where interestingly you are an academic at Rutgers. President Joe Biden in Israel, standing shoulder to shoulder with Benjamin Netanyahu, said this was the other team which did it, virtually accusing the Palestinians of this hospital strike. How do you then see the US role, Dr. Siyam?
Sir, it's a matter of fact that Israel is a byproduct of Western colonialism. It was England which invented Israel and planted it in the middle of the Arab world in Palestine. And then after 1967, the United States took over. The United States empowered Israel with money, with weapons, with intelligence, with grants over $4 billion a year, with allowing all the pro-Israeli lobbies in the US to collect money and send it to Israel. So without the United States, Israel cannot be sustained. For the first time, with this attack on October 7, the United States and Western power realized that Israel is a fabrication and it could be defeated. It's very easy. So they all came in running to support Israel. The United States moved its carriers to the region with 2,000 soldiers on foot. They are in Israel. The German chancellor, British foreign minister, everyone is coming to support Israel. Why? It's just because Israel is an investment for Western colonialism to keep the Middle East under control, especially because of its oil wealth. And also, there is competition between now China, Russia on one side, and the United States and its allies, the Europeans, on the other side, about who controls the Middle East. Israel has been helping the Western powers to control the Middle East. And it has been making progress with normalization with 4 Arab countries like United Arab Emirates and Morocco and Bahrain. So that's why they are rushing to support Israel.
But, with due regard, Dr. Siyam,
I don't see much difference.
No.
Yes.
With due regard,
yes.
Dr. Siyam, let's be very clear. You keep telling me, look at the big picture. The fact is, October 7th and the terror attacks of Hamas were the trigger for the latest escalation of hostilities. This hospital strike, whoever has done it, would not have happened if October 7th had not happened. October 7th triggered the latest escalation of violence. And therefore, while I appreciate your historical context, you surely cannot deny Hamas's role in what happened on October 7th. You will have to focus on that as well and condemn that outrightly.
I disagree with you, sir. No, because Gaza has been under complete siege for the last 16 years. I mean, Tor Winsland, the UN envoy in Palestine, he gave a report to the Security Council on September 30th. He said in his report, Gaza is going into an explosion. Either we rescue Gaza or we will see something different. They cannot continue like that. It's the most inhumane prison in the world. It's 2 million point 3 had been cut off from the world for 16 years. They cannot get any piece of food without the permission of Israel. So how long are they going to take it? And not only that, Israel had waged so many wars against Gaza in 2008, 2009, 2012, 2014, and 2021. So Gaza has been under these unacceptable conditions. What else they can do? Just to sit as sitting ducks and being killed by the Israeli drones and Israeli bombardment and Israeli Air Force? That they cannot do. They cannot continue like that. So they want to draw the attention to their suffering, to their miseries. So we have to understand the mentality of people who've been under occupation for 56 years and been under complete siege for 16 years. We have to understand that mentality of a whole generation that were brought up under these unacceptable, inhumane conditions.
Do you also accept that what happened on October 7th was inhuman, just as you focus on the fact that what's been happening in Gaza has been inhuman over the years? Do you accept what happened on October 7th was inhuman as well?
I don't take it this way. I mean, you cannot ask me about one incident and leave like the settlement activities in the West Bank, the attacks of settlers on Palestinian villages, the storming of Al-Aqsa Mosque, the most sacred place in Palestine. You cannot just take that out of context and ask me about this. I don't want to see any civilian killed, but who've been killed for the last 56 years? Did you know that over 280 Palestinians killed in the West Bank since January 1st, including 47 children? Why you don't see the big picture? Only you take this incident out of context and you want the Palestinian to condemn it. No, I don't condemn this one incident. I condemn everything that Israel has been doing against the Palestinian people.
So let me ask you in conclusion, the big picture that I see is of a cycle of hate, of violence, of revenge, of retribution carrying on for years. What happened on October 7th being a part of that. We could all argue at the moment on who is responsible for the strike on the hospital. Israelis claiming Islamic Jihad of Palestinians, the Gaza Health Ministry blaming the Israel government. But what I see at the moment is that innocents are being killed and there is a cycle of hate, violence and revenge that shows no signs of ending.
Who brought hate to the region, sir? Who expelled 750,000 Palestinians in 1948? 70% of the population of Gaza are refugees from 1948. How long they're going to wait to see some hope, to see some light at the end of the tunnel? How long? Who brought hatred? Who brought miseries? Who brought massacre to the Palestinians? Why the Palestinians are blamed now if they scream? If there is a woman being raped and she bit the finger of her rapist, then we blame the woman? Why you don't see that? Why you don't see the picture? Yes, I mean, there are incidents that could reach some innocent civilians from this side and this side, but you have to look at the whole picture. There was no Hamas in the West Bank from January 1st until now when 280 people were killed. Why? Why you don't see that? Why you don't see the violence of the settlers on Palestinian villages, which takes place every single day? They burn their olive trees. They storm their houses. They built a wall on the Palestinian land. They storm Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. What else the Palestinian can do? Just keep shedding some tears? They have, I mean, it's in international law. Any people who are under occupation are entitled to resist.
Sir,
didn't the Indian people resist the English colonialism? I ask you.
Sir,
did the Indian people sit just like a sitting duck? And
India fought colonialism with non-violence. Since you used India as an example, let me just remind you, Mahatma Gandhi succeeded by non-violence. Armed resistance, Dr. Siyam, doesn't mean killing innocent children, whether Israeli or Palestinians. You've got to accept that. Violence begets more violence.
Sir, India started with violence. Gandhi, in the later stage, he became more of a peaceful resistance. But you have 450 million Indians. I mean, Gandhi said, if you spit on England, you will sink it down in the sea. We don't have that 450 million to fight peacefully. Israel is being bombarding the Palestinians all those years. It's not only this October 7th. It's every single day there is atrocities committed against the Palestinians. Yes, of course there is a huge generation gap.
Let me leave it there, Dr. Siyam. Strong words that you're using on the program. I'll leave it there. You've given us the Palestinian perspective. As I said, I will keep looking for diverse views on this show. I appreciate you joining me here on the news today.